All right, sorry about that quick technical difficulties, but this is race 1 of the final 4 rounds. St. Mary's in black, Brown in yellow. I'm Chris Lev from Chris Lev Productions. This is APS Team Race Nationals presented by Laser Performance. I heard a whistle out there, but I think it might have been a green flag.
So lighter conditions. St. Mary's appears to have the 1 in boat 12. We should probably talk about how amazing it is that St. Mary's is sitting in this position with an opportunity to win this regatta. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to be here, just like last year, and yet here they are again.
No, we talked about this in the preview leading up, and we did note that St. Mary's is always ready for a national championship. But with the depth of this field and, you know, a record that just does not hold up to the likes of Stanford, who's not even in this, Charleston, Georgetown, Brown, Yale. I mean, St. Mary's ranked behind all those teams, and here they are sitting in second place, a national championship absolutely in reach here.
Credit to Bill Ward and Adam Werblow, the coaches down there, and all the alumni that go back to St. Mary's and help coach them up.
That is one of the absolutely most invaluable assets that St. Mary has. It's a tradition. Every year before nationals, they go out to a different sailing venue. It's their own special place for practice, and they bring back just, I mean, hordes of All-Americans. They've got some college sailors of the year. Some of the best team racers in the country come out of St. Mary's, and they all are so dedicated to that team. They go back, practice them up, get them ready for nationals. So even if they didn't have a stellar spring season, and not to say that St. Mary's did fine, they just weren't winning regattas the way some of these other guys were, they're absolutely ready for nationals. And I apologize, our camera's not up in the air yet, but it's going to be soon. We got a little bit caught off guard, this final 4 round coming up.
St. Mary's may be executing here into a play 1.
This is what it would have been like if I had gotten the 10-foot scaffolding that I had been considering.
Well, thank God you got this scissor lift that is sitting on the ground at the moment.
We'll get it up there in just a few minutes.
You go to the snack bar and just take the food if it's there and come back and tell me to run.
So St. Mary's getting around Mark 3 there with a 1, with a 2, and closing the door here is boat 12, or attempting to close the door, and they do. So a 1, 2, 3 for St. Mary's here, coming around Mark 3 against Brown. They are hot on their tail, but I don't think it's going to matter much. St. Mary's can run away here in boat 12 for St. Mary's. Now slowing everybody up. That should be, I think, John Wallace again, the high boat for St. Mary's, now putting a little bit of a gap on everybody for Brown. You see Brown now standing up in their boats, panicking as the 1, 2 for St. Mary's run away. And an amazing job there by Wallace slowing down the field. And you can see now that gap for St. Mary's as they continue upwind. So meanwhile, back on the first beat, the next race has started. There's Yale in red against Georgetown in blue. Yale, of course, on top of the leaderboard with 16 wins. And looks like Yale, kind of Graham Landy, I think, over on the far left has dialed into a huge lefty. So controlling the left. And I think that Yale's got the lead over on the right side of the course as well. And it looks like they will also have an ace. But you can see just how crazy this breeze has become. Boats on the left side of the course sailing in good breeze, huge left shift, and guys on the right side are sort of just floating right now, not moving very quickly. So still a lot of leverage. A lot of things can change quickly, but it looks over there like Yale's controlling both pairs on the right side of this course. So we'll see if Graham Landy, he's got a lot of balancing to do to get his team in front of this leftmost Georgetown boat. But sure looks good for Yale. Again, sitting on top of the leaderboard with 16 wins. Yale needs either a win against St. Mary's or just 2 wins on their own to clinch this championship. As their Cam Coleman tacks into that big lefty. And you see Landy now reaching in. They've already rounded Mark 1. And he now stopping, waiting for his teammates who are currently in second and third.
All right, we're sending the camera up. It's going to be a little jittery for a minute. You're going to hear the engine in the background, but once it's up there, this view is going to be awesome.
So, attack there from Yale. Yale gets around in the 1-3, but now looks like pinned. I think that's Segerblom for Yale got pinned out there. So they're going to have it looks like a 1-3-6 now Yale has. So what I thought was going to shape out to be almost a 1-2-3 is now turned into a 1-3-6. And Georgetown stopping on the reach, trying to execute a pass back to go play 2. Can we maybe zoom in on that that pass back between these 5 boats here as Landy has gone around Mark II, holding on to the 1 for Yale.
I got to apologize for my graphics again. That says top 8. It's supposed to be Final 4. That's what this is.
And look for Nevin Snow as that lead Georgetown boat now luffing Cam Coleman for Yale. And a nice job there by Nevin Snow. So Chris Barnard is now through. And here comes that last Georgetown boat. So Georgetown looking at a pretty good potential for a play 2. Yale, I'd say, now chasing with a 1-5-6. So it's tough for Landy there. He was really launched, but just didn't have enough runway to balance because that left side got so far ahead. He was trying ragging his jib the whole time, but they're almost reaching in on the port tack ley line and just didn't have enough time to slow down Georgetown's furthest left pair.
Can you watch live and commentate live while I use the screen for something else? It's not that big a deal.
So checking back, the black and yellow boats, St. Mary's and Brown, have just finished. We think that was St. Mary's with a 2-3-4.
So St. Mary's now 1 win away from the top record.
And it looks like back on this downwind for Yale in the red boats, it looks to me like they've now converted that into a play 2. Sneaking around Georgetown's 2-3-4. And super light conditions, everybody's sort of jib reaching on port or attempting to jib reach on port, but no ace in the hole for Yale, as it looks like Cam Coleman has sort of gotten shot out the back here on this downwind. But Landy and Segerblom seem to be ahead, hoping for a little bit of breeze to carry them down to Mark III. We'll maybe zoom in on these guys a little bit to the right and see if Landy and Segerblom can hang on to this. So super light conditions as we see Georgetown continue to chase. Yale looking pretty solid. They're probably just about 20 yards from the leeward mark, Mark III. Nice boat handling there from Chris Barnard and Nevin Snow for Georgetown as they continue to chase.
Zeke, everybody here at the tent with the binoculars says St. Mary's was 1-2.
So a win for St. Mary's gets them up to 15 wins, which currently has them 1 win off of Yale. Yale, of course, winning this race at the moment in sketchy conditions, and they have gotten around Mark III, and they're now rounding Mark IV with a 1-2, but no ace. as Cam Coleman desperately tries to pick up that ace for Yale. Good to be fast when you don't have an ace, and we certainly have seen wheels from Graham Landy all season, one of the fastest guys in the league. And same with Sago. So let's see if Georgetown can catch a break on a shift or something here on this last beat to try to get a win. Otherwise, Yale's going to be one step closer to becoming the next wood holders.
Amazing. And who's Yale's next race against? That'd be against Brown. So they could potentially wrap it up before ever facing St. Mary's, their next closest opponent.
They could. I hope that doesn't happen. I'd love to see it.
I always like when it comes down to the end.
Yeah. And so that was a loss for Brown in race 1, bringing their record to 13-8. Things still looking pretty solid here for Yale as Landy and Segerblom sail on those lifts. A little bit vulnerable to the right, though, so Georgetown has managed to get 2 boats out to the right. So looks like a big left shift, though, right off the bat, and I think Georgetown just crossed. So Landy is now ragging his jib again, and we can zoom in on that top 3 boats there. On the left side of the screen, we can see these guys are now launched on the rest of the fleet, sailing in a monster lefty yet again. So this, you see Landy there ragging his jib, attempting this 1-3 pass back with Segerblom. And who is that for Georgetown? That, I believe, is Nevin Snow for Georgetown.
Wow, all 3 boats tacking back again, but then 3 is on starboard.
And Nevin Snow sailing with Tory Lynch there in boat 18, but looks like nice,
just crushing on this double team.
Nice execution there, and kind of a lucky break there for Yale as they get vulnerable to the right, but a huge left shift comes in, giving them plenty of time to execute this pass back on the left. And looks like still no ace. They're way behind for Yale, but they're approaching the finish line, and now looks like tacking and maybe laying the finish is Yale. And they do. So we see how shifty and puffy this is, but that'll go in as a win for Yale.
Which means that Georgetown and Brown
remain tied at 13-8.
And are out of reach of the national championship. It means it's going to be either Yale or St. Mary's.
Correct.
So St. Mary's 15-6. Yale 17-4. 2 races ahead